Hi, my name's Lofty and I bounty hunt other players in Star Citizen. So I love going after targets on capital ships, and I was hunting a fully crewed Idris full of criminals. Every single person on the ship had a crime stat, and they had a complement of fighters taking off and landing. Now, taking down capital ships is all about patience and perseverance, so this was my opportunity. I managed to land rather smoothly on the deck, but there was at least one person in there, as well as a Gladius that had just landed, and another ship was coming into land too. After taking down the first target and getting paid, I ran into a corner to reload, but there was another person on the deck and another ship was coming into land. This wouldn't stop me. So, like I say, taking down big ships like this is all about patience. Eventually, they'll let their guard down, and I can in some way find a way to strike. They had several fighters including a Mantis, so getting close and running away was quite hard, but eventually the pilot went to a ground location to rearm and repair. Now I had a chance. So, capital ships are notoriously difficult to break into. They have automated PDC systems that will just absolutely shred you, but this guy had decided to go and land in an armistice zone to rearm and repair. I knew the front hangar doors had been shut open, so I went to land on the top in the hopes that I could jump down from the struts like I had before. And if you haven't seen my video on running the most illegal and profitable cargo in Star Citizen, take a look at that because that's how I broke into an Idris there and took it down from the inside. But, as with all things in Star Citizen, nothing ever works like it's supposed to, and the ship took off, clipping me through the hull. I was inside the geometry and soon found my way into the ship itself. Now, I don't agree with stuff like this really. CIG should make more of an effort on collision detection for big ships because I've done this unintentionally several times, and being able to just phase through the hull like this and survive is so unbelievably broken. With that said, I felt like it was really abusing this bug if I just went and took down the pilot, so I decided to watch the battle instead. And while I was just watching, the ship decided for some reason to launch me in front of the pilot, so I sort of shat myself and ran away because I thought he'd seen me. So I decided to mess with the fuses and see if I could just mess with the ship any other way. The Idris was fighting at least two others, as well as a Polaris, and from what I could see, it absolutely destroyed them all. Both of the other Idris had their main cannons or front weapons destroyed, and they seemingly just couldn't do anything against this guy after a while, and the Polaris itself just decided to start ramming the ship. So this went on for about an hour before the pilot declared victory and made his way back to the asteroid belt in yellow. And it looked as if he was finally heading back towards Grim Hex to store the ship. But the pilot was either really lazy or really smart and logged out just in orbit around yellow. Fair enough really, I wasn't meant to be there, but at least I could still destroy the ship. So I jumped in the pilot seat, but something was wrong. I couldn't do anything at all. I couldn't move, I couldn't use any of the controls, nothing. After a quick relog, I managed to get control of the ship, so I set off the self-destruct. But it seems that my character's legs had somehow atrophied in the space of time I'd been sat there, and I just couldn't get up. Like, I don't know if this was because technically the pilot had logged out, so the game was holding his position in the seat, so that if he did log back in, like in the next 2-3 minutes or something, it would save his position. Locked into the pilot seat, I had only one choice: to ride that thing into hell. I did, however, expect a bit of a bigger explosion. Anyway, I was back out in the Razor, hunting another target on an Idris. This one was picking up ground vehicles, and once again, I had an opportunity to board the ship. I snuck in just as the hangar doors opened. But Running through the corridors, I ran into one of the crew. Hello sir, don't mind me, I'm just inspecting the ship. It's the Idris inspection crew. Just go about your business, it's fine. You don't need to be here with me, it's okay. No, wait. I went back to see them doing the same thing, so I tried again. So it seemed like these guys were just stocking up this Idris with all manner of different ships, ground vehicles, weapons, everything you could think of. And it was going to be very, very tricky for me to actually get inside this ship and make it to the bridge without being spotted or killed instantly. I was in, and I tried to make a run for the freight elevators, but again, I was taken down by a vigilant crewman. Undeterred, I tried for a third time, but this time they had a few people on deck and a tank firing at the Razor. Once again I tried for the elevator, but was swiftly taken down. My last ditch effort was to try and fall into the hangar at Grim on top of the ship, which has worked for me in the past. So I guess I just wanted to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to over 6,000 subscribers. We're almost at 6,500 now. It really means a lot to me that you guys like this kind of content. I love breaking into big ships. I love doing bounty hunting. Yes, the system is extremely broken at the moment. There's lots of stuff wrong with it, especially the other day when we just lost all of our contracts. So it really means a lot that you like this kind of content. But this time, it decided it wasn't going to happen and instantly repositioned me. At this point, they were back in Grim and there wasn't really anything I could do, so I just took on a different target. But one of the crew actually followed me into the elevator. I knew he was a criminal, and he didn't get repositioned, so, you know, this was really his own fault. I was back out again, this time looking at 4 Idris over Daymar. Like I say, hunting targets on capital ships is all about patience and perseverance, and I was just waiting for my time to strike. I took the Razor in and tried to get in behind the Idris to see if I could shoot open the hangar doors. I had no idea if the attritions were even doing damage through the shield, but I had to try. Every time I got engaged, I would just speed away in the Razor and come back again. The battle was raging on, with everyone seemingly fighting each other. So I tried once again to get in close with the Razor, hoping to fly under the radar in such a large battle. Obviously, as a solo player without thousands of dollars to spend on a ship like this, your options are pretty limited when it comes to trying to take these kinds of ships down. You really have to wait for an opportunity, you really have to try and either go and try and shoot open the hangar, which I'm not even sure that this ship can do with the size 2 attritions. I have done it before in a different ship with ballistics, so I know it is possible to shoot open this hangar door, but it's extremely tricky, and you're always getting engaged by the PDCs, and they always have other fighters. Anyway, I got a bit too eager with the throttle and wrecked the ship. I had a Hornet Ghost with a bit more firepower, so I went back and tried the same tactic. But, unfortunately, any fighter is like paper, and if the Idris even touches it, that's it, you're done. Like I said, taking down these guys is all about patience, and the battle had finally subsided. Now was my chance. I took the Razor in, taking advantage of the low signature of my stealth ship to get in close and undetected. So the thing about capital ships for me in this game is that as a regular player, unless you spend this money, there is no counterplay to this massive capital ship. Unless you wait and wait and wait for an opportunity like this. Now I was waiting hours for this kind of opportunity to just come in here when there were a bit of a lull and try and infiltrate this ship, and I could see that the pilot wasn't in the pilot seat, which was just a perfect opportunity. But I mean, I have to stress that this was hours worth of just waiting around. The outer airlock door took 1 mag of ammo, and now I was in. The inner door of the airlock took all the rest of the ammo I had for my SMG, but luckily I had my trusty S38 pistol. I made my way to the bridge, determined not to wait this time. I had legitimately infiltrated this ship. Making my way up there, the doors were locked, and I didn't have enough ammo to break through them, and my usual trick of shanking the doors with a knife until they opened seemed to have no effect. But I knew another way in. There's an elevator you can take from the lower deck to the bridge, which thankfully wasn't locked down, so I rode it up. I'd made it up to the bridge, and it was quite clear that this was another solo crewed Idris. I really think these pilots are going to have such a hard time when engineering comes in and they actually have to hire crew to take care of all of these things. I could see the other 3 Idris just looming outside. I crept my way to the pilot. I'm afraid it's all over for you, Truffle. So after business was taken care of, I got into the pilot seat to self-destruct the ship like I usually do. But the same bug that had happened earlier happened again, and I was completely stuck in the seat with no control of the ship whatsoever. Kent also decided to turn up on the main view screen as well, but luckily I found a way in the options to just mute his voice so I didn't have to listen to what he had to say. The other capital ship seemed to notice this and started to engage my ship. What's happening? Why can't I do anything? What's going on? Happening. Finally, somehow I got control back and I set the self-destruct off. But I'd forgotten to open all the doors, so I ran back, sat in the seat and hit my hotkey to open them. But it's a big ship, and I'd wasted a lot of time. In hindsight, I don't know why I just didn't run to the airlock that I'd broke into. Anyway, I ran to the hangars, and unfortunately, all the doors were still completely shut. Oh no. Panicking, I ran to the cargo hold in a last vain attempt to escape. But no dice though, and the ship exploded in a ball of flames. No. So yeah, that's my little story of taking down targets on capital ships, many attempts and one successful, so I count that as a win. It can be daunting, but it is possible as a solo player, even if it took me a few tries. So yeah, if you like this content, please leave a like and a comment, and if you're feeling funky fresh, you can support the channel on Ko-fi, the link's in the description. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.